Perfect. So good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started. Welcome to Face to Face. My name is Sarai. I am Parent University Coordinator of Network 4. Welcome to Face to Face, a series of virtual supports for CPS parents during the COVID-19 health crisis. So as our district continues to navigate through challenging times, we want our families and students to know we are here to support them. Phase 2 has launched a series of virtual workshops to help families build on their strengths. Offerings go from academics to mental health, arts and self-care, social emotional learning, technology assistance, and direct access to experts from the field. Please make sure to register for our mailing list. That link will be provided in the chat. This session will be recorded. We want to make sure that parents who are unable to be with us today are able to see this valuable information. This session will be available at our YouTube channel along with many others, and that link will also be provided in the chat. Please do not miss out on our future sessions. We have a couple listed here. Tomorrow, 3:16 at noon, we have Chat to Learn program in English. Also at noon on March 16, we have our Chat to Learn program in Spanish. Another amazing workshop we're doing right now, March 16th as well at 3 p.m. We have our workshop called Buying Rich and Healthy with Erie House. And we have many more, as you can see. Please make sure once again to register for our mailing list. That information will be provided in the chat. For more information, please make sure to reach out to Title I at cps.edu or reach out to Norma Celadon at nceladon@cps.edu. All of this information will be in the chat once again, along with our registration for our mailing list, and also a quick survey at the end of the presentation. Today's presenters, we have Dr. Johnson with us. Dr. Johnson received her doctorate of optometry degree from Illinois College of Optometry in 1978 and a master's in education from Erickson Institute Loyola University in 1987. She's currently practicing behavioral optometrist and a co-owner of Plano Optometrics Ltd. with Dr. Joseph W. McCray Jr., a clinical assistant professor at ICO. Their group has practiced and served in Chicago and the surrounding area for over 50 years. We will give our presenters some time also to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit more about themselves. We also have Ms. Catherine Stafford Hudson. Ms. Hudson is a student health program manager for Chicago Public Schools and manages the vision and dental exam programs in the Office of Student Health and Wellness. Currently, Ms. Hudson has developed a standardized operational plan for school clerks and created a communication system for school clerks during the past year, a new website, and training for school clerks. Whenever, Ms. Hudson, you are ready to present for us, I will share your presentation. Sorry, Ms. Hudson, you are on mute.
Thank you. I'm ready to present.
Awesome. 1 second, and there we go.
So our presentation here today is how to minimize the effect of increased screen time on students' vision. We know that because of remote learning and because of students being at home, there is an increase in screen time, but we want to help you minimize the effect of that on their vision, as well as tell you about some of our resources that we have available to students. Next screen. So I'm from the Office of Student Health and Wellness, and we aim to improve and remove health-related barriers to learning and advance health equity in Chicago for our students. Next slide. I can tell you we support the whole child, and what that means is that CPS is committed to ensuring that every student in every school is healthy, safe, supported, challenged, and engaged by using a holistic approach that connects the physical mind, the mental and social and emotional health, and academic success. Why? We want to ensure that students' basic needs are being met and that every student has the support they need to learn and thrive. And how we're going to do this? We're going to do this through collaboration with the central office, schools, and the community, guided by the WISC or the whole child model. So the whole child model is basically, and everyone does it, every parent does, every school does it, is simply putting the child in the middle. And then it's putting services, physical health, education, community input, engagement, social and emotional, all of the services that a child will need to be successful is around it. And that is what we advocate in supporting the whole child. Okay, next slide. Within the Office of Student Health and Wellness, we have basically 5 prongs of work streams. Health promotion, and in health promotion, we have recess, gardens, school gardens, nutrition programs, as well as now new mental health, and the WISC model is housed in health promotion. And health information, talk more about the data and communication. We also have another system of work called Healthy CPS, where we strive and work with schools to become healthy CPS schools. And then there's student health services. And we have, I must say, that's the stream of work that I come from. And I love it because we actually provide services to students that are vital to their success. For instance, the vision and hearing screenings. We come out and do primarily certain grade levels, as well as any teacher recommendations. We have vision exams in schools. We see approximately or we're seeing approximately 50,000 students. The program is a school-based program, and all schools are eligible, all students are eligible. All we have to do is get a signed consent form from the parent and return to the schools. And the providers come into schools and they provide comprehensive eye exams and glasses if needed. We also have something really unique, and I'll talk about it a little bit when we talk more about the vision program. We provide dental services. We see about 80,000 students a year with dental services. And it's amazing that they also go into the schools. We have approximately 30 schools with school-based health centers in them. And then the next stream of work is our Children and Family Benefits Unit. They make sure that all of the students that are eligible are signed up for Medicaid, which includes SNAP, food stamps, enrollment, and benefits. And then new is our COVID response team, which includes contact tracing and COVID-related supports. Next slide. So now I'm going to talk specifically about the school-based vision exam program. And my name is Catherine Stafford Hudson. So the object is, this presentation basically is to inform you about vision exam resources in schools, and is also to discuss ways to minimize the negative effect of increased screen time on our children's vision. At the end of this process, you will be able to access all of our school-based vision services for your child. You will understand ways to reduce the negative impact of screen time on your child, as well as be able to access additional resources, because we have a whole page of resources for you. Next slide, please. So 2 basic school-based programs that we have available for our students, school-based, and basically they go into schools. The eyeglasses are ready in 3 to 5 weeks. Replacement eyeglasses, that was the most important thing. We know that children lose and break their eyeglasses like adults lose and break umbrellas. Just imagine how many you use in a year. That's how children feel about, that's how children respond to glasses. So we have a very, very robust eyeglass program. All a student has to do, or a parent or someone at the school, is notify the provider that they need a new pair of glasses. They've lost or broken them. We get those back to the school. The program is available for pre-K through 12th grade students, so high school students. So everyone at the school level can access the service. Next, we have the Illinois Eye Institute, and they are right now at the Lewison Center. We usually have them at Princeton, But they're at the Lewis Center on 35th Street. The only thing is you have to go to them. So parents have to make an appointment and go to the Lewis Center. And we do provide that information later to you as a resource. And the same thing, replacement glasses, the whole 9 yards. They'll see pre-K through 12 students. And the service, the good thing about them is you can go year round. So they're open in the summer, odd holidays, parent-teacher conference days, they're open. Next slide. So I really wanted to talk just a little bit about what is included in a comprehensive eye exam for students. Children are a little bit more than just many adults. So their eyes react to vision exams a little bit different, and they need more testing than an adult would, because there are so many opportunities for their tracking and some things to be off. So in a comprehensive exam, we ask for a case history, which is just a medical history. Inside the exam, they do a refractive error. They make sure the eye health is healthy. If a parent says that we can dilate the student, then we do, which is a more thorough check of the eye, and they can actually check behind the eye for eye health. We do visual acuities. We make sure in the visual efficiency that the accommodation and the focusing exams are done, as well as eye posture and what we call eye tracking. And that determines whether or not a student will be able to read, basically, because they'll have to go, be able to go from left to right in a row. So what we find, and then visual processing, because what we found is some of our students, about 15 to 17% of our students, after an eye exam, they have a referral, and some of them have visual disorders, which some of these exams have caught. And so they may need vision therapy or some additional types of services in order to get their vision under control. But so it's really important, even if you go outside of our, the school-based program or some of the referrals that I've given you, it's important that parents understand this, because again, children's eyes are a little different than adult eyes. So we want to make sure they're getting all of these tests in order to determine, to make sure that there are no other concerns or issues. Next slide. So basically, we recommend at the school level, and it's a state law that says any student that's new to the district, state law student has to get a vision exam in order to come to school. Kindergarten students, it's a state law that says by October 15th of each year, they have to have a comprehensive exam. We know that students who are IEP students or a multi-tiered system of supports may suffer from some vision problems. So we want to make sure those students are seen, as well as students who fail the vision screening. Can you do a double click on how to tell if your child needs glasses? Up at the top, yeah, that's a link. So just wanted to review this just a little bit. And this is really a good guide. We usually give this to all of the teachers so that they're aware, because sometimes they forget a little bit, but this is just an indicator. These are indicators of whether or not a child may need glasses. So that squinting, the tilting of the head, if they sit too close to the television, not all the time, but sometimes, lose their place while reading, covering their eye, excessive tearing. Sometimes you'll see them rub their eyes a lot. Sometimes they may have headaches, and it's unexplainable, because unless they're like dehydrated or hungry, they really should, or on the verge of being sick, they really shouldn't have headaches. But it might be because of some of the light sensitivity, and it might have to do with whether or not they need glasses. Thank you. So next slide. And we provided just a list of some resources. I know that, not everyone's in school, but we did get really good news, because the school-based program for vision is going to start up again really soon. But For now, if you want to take your child, we have this list of resources here of all of our partners, and they're taking appointments right now. So just wanted to share that with you. And next slide. All right. So I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Johnson, and she's going to tell us more about how to minimize the impact of screen time on students' vision.
Okay, good evening, everyone. As Catherine said, my name is Dr. Stephanie Johnson Brown, and most people call me Dr. Stephanie. And it's probably because we are providers at the Plano Vision Center, which consists of our private practice, Plano Optometrics, and the Plano Child Development Center, which is a not-for-profit, which means that we service children no matter what on an ability to pay basis. So even if they don't have the money, we can work something out with them to pay for services. The biggest thing about the center is my father, the late Dr. Robert Johnson, founded the center to, because at that time, oh man, way back in the 70s or 60s, Medicaid did not pay for the specialty service called vision therapy. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, but that's a service that really has a big impact on how our children learn, and it improves visual skills that are so needed to learn academically and in their behavior. So with that said, the center has been operating basically based on grants and foundation support. And we have, thank God, continued on even after the civil unrest in the summer and COVID. We're still here, and we still see all students, and we do have a bilingual staff. So of all ages and also all cultures and races. Now, this year I was honored to actually receive the Illinois Optometric Association's Optometrist of the Year. So I didn't put that in there yet, but that's my newest accomplishment, and I'm so proud to represent the state of Illinois and hopefully represent them well at the national level. I am also currently on the board of the Essilor Vision Foundation, and I'm proud of that because that's the foundation that works with Chicago Public Schools and other places all over the country to provide free eyeglasses. Now, you as a parent can't call them and get free eyeglasses, but you can find out what doctors in your area are on their list of doctors who have signed up on their portal to provide these eyeglasses free of charge. But the doctors have to participate, and we are one of the doctors. But so a prescription is needed, and I've used them a lot, especially when a child doesn't have any insurance, or if it's not time for their insurance to pay for a pair of glasses again, and the parents can't afford it. So Essilor Vision Foundation has been very helpful in providing free eyeglasses for children all over the country. Now getting into our today's topic, and I know you all are just gone pretty crazy with teaching your children at school and have a new appreciation for teachers, I'm sure. So we can go to the next slide. Okay, so we're going to talk about the effect of all that screen time that the children are having, plus needing the screen time again to do homework. So there's certain things that happen and why we gotta take breaks. And when I say a break, I mean a break. Kids think a break is, okay, I'm gonna stop doing schoolwork, I'm gonna play games on my phone. That's not a break. It has to be a break from visually demanding tasks. Some say, well, the TV, if it's a huge TV and they're far away, I guess that could be a 30-minute break. But normally what we mean is go outside and play, go look out the window, go get some water, go to the bathroom, go get a snack, do some exercises, do some jumping jacks. We mean a real break where their eyes are not locking in on the screen. So I just want to be clear on that. because the muscles around the eyes, just like the muscles in the body, when it's used so long, they get tired and they fatigue, and the kids will complain about accommodative stress or focusing, where their eye muscles are just, and they'll have headaches even based on this. The other thing, when they tell you, this is what I want you to know about their blurred vision. If I ask the child, is your vision blurry? They don't know what that means. So I'll say, can you see something far away that I know they should be able to see? And that's what you can do as a parent. So if you know they should be able to see it, you say, can you see that over there? You're in Walgreens. Can you see that sign? And you can see it, everybody else can see it, and they can't see it. Because children they don't know for the first time that this is the way it's supposed to be. They have nothing to compare it to. They think it's normal. So you have to discover with them if they have blurry vision. And you have to be specific. So blurry vision sometimes means I'm looking at my computer, it looks nice and clear. And then I glance over there at something far away that I'm trying to see clear, and it goes blurry just for a second, then it gets clear. Or they're looking at something far away, like they're in school, and maybe they're looking at a whiteboard or the chalkboard. And then they look back at the words in their book, and they do this because it goes blurry just for a second. So what I'm trying to say to you as parents is be specific. So you can say, what do you mean you can't see? Do you see it blurry all the time? Does the blur come and go? Are you looking at the words on your book and the words are moving around? Okay, so, and the unfortunate thing about the blurry vision is if we don't intervene some kind of way with them, taking them to the eye doctor so we can intervene with that way to do something about it, they'll keep focusing, and they'll have what's called accommodative spasm, and they're focusing to someone, just lock in. Then at the end of the day, when they look up and now they're going outside, all of a sudden they can't see, it's blurry. Okay, because that near point problem will become a distance problem. So nearsightedness means they're sighted at near. Farsightedness meaning they see well far away, they just have to focus a little bit harder. So what happens is if they keep over focusing up close, all of a sudden they look up and that they're fixing the problem. They're becoming focused at near. And as they become focused at near, the definition is blurred at far. So yes, it can lead to your child who never wore glasses to walk down the street to see, now having to wear glasses to see far away. The other thing studies have shown is that when you're on a computer, and you that work on a computer all day long, you stare, you don't blink. So you have to be conscious to blink. If you don't blink, then you can always use artificial tears over the counter, not just necessarily Visine. You know, it literally has to say artificial tears. And if you find that you got to use it all the time, then you need to go to the doctor, because maybe you need a prescription for dry eyes and not just over-the-counter artificial tears, which maybe you can use 2 to 3 times a day, and that's not abnormal. And we talked about myopia, but the other thing I want to say about myopia, that's the nearsightedness. There are studies that have actually shown that for children who are 6 and under, outside play and being in the sunlight, even if both parents are super nearsighted, can prevent them from becoming nearsighted. So this getting away, going outside, in fact, the recommendation at least 1.5 to 2 hours of outdoors, but I know it's been cold, they can't go outdoors, so you got to kind of improvise with this going out. It's really, really, really something important that we need to work on. And then less than 2 hours of being on the devices, being up close, which I know has been impossible, but you can break the time up. So if you can do that, you can break the time up. Next slide. So there's this rule called the 20-20-20 rule. And this is pretty good. You can even do 30-30-30. I mean, this is just a general rule. But every 20 minutes, look someplace far, at least 20 feet. And 20 feet is like looking out the window, looking at the ceiling, getting up, looking down the hallways, really where you're stretching at least 20 feet away. And you do it for about 20 minutes, which is not long. And then you you do it for 20 seconds, which is not long, but you do it every 20 minutes. So sometimes 20 minutes is difficult for them to remember, but we can remember like 30-minute shows. So if you do it 30 minutes, it's pretty good. Stop for, a half a minute, look away, that's still good. Some parents put reminders on the kids on top of their computers at the top so they can remember to take a break. Next slide. So how can we prevent this? So a lot of times your child doesn't complain because they're not going to complain. So you got to be an advocate and ask questions. Or you have to practice prevention. So you take your children to see the physical doctor, the pediatrician, every year just for prevention, just to make sure they're okay. Well, you should do the same thing for your children, beginning at least in kindergarten. But prior to that, you should have taken your child by 2, 3. And the American Optometric Association says 6 months. Now, I do exams on 6-month-old babies. However, it's because the parent has a concern, something that the child is holding this up close or getting up close, or the child eye is really turning and never straightening up. It's just something definitely really strange going on when I see them at 6 months. But as optometrists, we can examine a 6-month-old. But I like examining them if they don't see any signs. I like to examine them when they're at least 2 or 3. Even though nothing is wrong, at least I'll find a child that sees perfect in one eye and they don't see good in the other eye. And I can intervene before they have what's called a lazy eye or amblyopic eye. Because a little kid at 2 or 3 is not going to say, Mommy, when I cover this eye, I cannot see. When I cover this eye, I can see. They're not going to see that. So a lot of the parents tell me they don't take them to the eye doctor because they don't know their ABCs. Well, they don't have to know their ABCs. We have pictures and symbols. And most of all, we use a retinoscope like this. And when we shine this light in their eye and neutralize the reflex we're seeing, we know what their prescription is without talking to them. Sometimes we do have to, because they're looking everywhere, we have to put the drops in to relax the focusing system to tell, but sometimes we don't. But basically, when we use this particular test, it doesn't matter how old they are. And if you go to an eye doctor that tells you to bring that child back at 6, that means they're just not comfortable with doing a young child. So you just need to find someone that will be comfortable examining a child under 5 years old. Of course, enough sleep, you all know that, because your eye's going to get up. Your eyes, when you don't get enough sleep, you have baggy eyes in the morning. So definitely, your child should definitely have enough sleep. And the biggest thing is, do not let your child go to sleep with the TV, with the telephone, with their iPad, with any devices. It is so hard to unwind with all of that going into your brain. Now, you can put on a little nice quiet music. That's fine. But they should be able to have some 30 minutes time to unwind in the bed without any devices. So that's highly recommended. And of course, we all know about nutrition. A balanced diet is very important. And that same studies, the studies with myopia or the nearsightedness, basically that's one of the reasons why they think going out into the sun is working so well with helping to slow down the progression of nearsightedness, is because they're getting that vitamin D in the sun. Next slide. Okay, exercise. So we already said going outside. So not going outside to play with their phones and their tablets. Let them do motor work. Let them run. Let them play. Let them skip. Let them ride their bikes. Let them play ball. Take them to the park. Get on the slides, on the swings. All of that activity is, whether you know it or not, is really important for their vision development. And then blinking. We talked about blinking a little bit before, and taking breaks, but it's going to be hard for you. You just got to try to tell the child to blink. If you see them staring, encourage them to blink. And then you may have to put that humidifier in their room. Or some parents also go and buy the pads, just like you have a heating pad for your shoulder, they have the ones for your eyes, and you put them in the microwave and you just lay it on the eyes and it moisturizes your eyes too. That's another type of way if you can't get the drops in the child's eyes or you don't have a humidifier. Just putting those nice moisture on their eyes kind of helps with the dryness too. Next slide. Okay, the screen position. So there's a rule called the 1-2-10 rule. So if you're using your phone, the rule is, it's kind of more or less like it varies for different size people. So it's really based on what we call the Harmon distance, or the distance from your knuckle to your elbow. But so for some kids, let's say that's a 12, that's a foot, 1 foot. So your phone, 1 foot. Let's say you go to your laptop, like I'm here. So, my arm is like 2 feet. And then let's say you had a big TV, you're going to go back to the other side of the room. Don't let them sit close. And a lot of people say, they bring the children to me because they don't act like they can't see except for the television. That's the only thing that they have trouble doing is they have to get close to the TV. So when you're trying to make an assessment of, is my child sitting close to the TV because he can't see or because he's trying to attend? So you try it. If you get close to the television like this, all of this you can ignore. But if mom makes me sit on the other side of the room, way in the back, then I see what Johnny is doing. I see what Molly is doing. I see them playing over there and I can't concentrate. So if I can come close, now I can focus on CoComelon. I can really, really see it. And that's why they really are getting close. So you got to make sure that when you say they can't see because they sit close to the TV, it has to be other things too. I mean, they have to, if they're playing with your phone, all the other kids are holding the phone and playing like this, but your kid is doing this. That's a problem. Okay, so that's something to be concerned about. Spotlight on lighting. Now we're using the computers here, and the lighting in the room should be roughly 1/2 of what it would be for other activities. So you don't have to have it super bright because the screen, you're going to lose the contrast. And you don't need the screen to be in front of a window. Have anybody ever used their laptop and they had the window light coming on it? So you're just causing glare problems for your children. The glare screens are great if you have one of those, but just position the screen and get in front of your child's screen to make sure it's not a lot of glare, because glare is really cause a lot of fatigue and eye strain. So you want to sit there with them, tilt it so that you get the least amount of glare. And we'll talk about everybody always asks me about the Blu-ray glasses. Of course, those are helpful too. We'll talk about that when we get to it in the slide. Next slide, please. Okay, so I guess is this the last slide, Catherine? Okay, so we'll talk about the blue light glasses. So these are some additional resources. I am a member of the College of Optometrists and Vision Development. They are great. So that's a way that you can find eye doctors that are pediatric. The American Academy of Pediatrics, they have great articles on screen time. And the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. Another place is the Prevent Blindness. Prevent Blindness of Illinois has some excellent support material. So that's another place you can look. And then I'm also a part of Optometrist Network, or optometrist.org, I think it is. But there's another good resource, and they have a lot of questions like vision and learning. My child has an IEP or attention deficit disorder. So they have a lot of other types of information besides on the effect of the screen time on vision. So those are other really good resources that we could look into to find more information. The website for my particular clinic is called planovision.org. And we have, under our resource tab, we do have additional information on this whole area too. So you can, and if you have, some parents tell me they have trouble getting their kids, when they do get the glasses, to wear the glasses. And I say, you model them. They want to be like you. You wear your glasses and they'll wear their glasses. So that's another kind of concern that they have. But I don't want to take up all the time in case people have questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Stephanie. Let me pull up the questions here. And please, if anyone has any questions, make sure to use our Q&A section to ask your questions, and we will make sure to answer them now that we have these two wonderful people with us to be able to answer these questions for us. A question coming up is, I apologize if I missed it, but what are the symptoms of dry eyes?
Okay, so even though the eye is dry, they're going to say they tear. And people say, well, it can't be dry if it's tearing. Yes, it is dry. If you just hold your eyes open wide, don't blink, just hold it. All of a sudden it starts to burn and it starts to water, because blinking is necessary for it not to dry out. So one of the symptoms is tearing. Now imagine if you're not tearing, you're not washing all the debris that's in the air out your eyes either. So now it's going to feel like the grit is in your eyes. So they're going to say, my eyes feel gritty. Okay. And then sometimes if it gets really bad, their eyes are going to look red. And it's just going to irritate them. So those are different signs of if their eyes are dry. But I'm going to tell you, kids don't complain. So you have to pull it out of them, as you know, as a student.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I have a couple questions coming in about the presentation, if it's going to be provided. It will be provided. I will actually be putting the link in the chat momentarily, where you will be able to access all the resources that were talked about in today's presentation. I believe this question is for Ms. Hudson. Will the Princeton site resume seeing students now that in-school learning is beginning again?
Right now, we have one provider that is at Princeton on a very limited basis. They're there 3 days a week, and we hope that they're there at least till June. And so that is available to parents. So if you want to, make an appointment at Princeton, all you have to do is give me a call. And my telephone number, is it anywhere on the PowerPoint? I don't think so. I will give you my number. My cell phone number is 773-403-0924. So we can get you connected there. It's just on a limited basis. So we were really like targeting certain schools, but it is open from now. Once schools get back full throttle, we will open Princeton again. And I think I saw another question about vision and hearing screeners. They are coming back because the schools are open, and they will be back third quarter. So sometime in April, definitely.
Perfect. Question coming in Spanish. Hola, pueden poner la página donde podemos llevar al niño al examen visual. Gracias. So the question is, hello, would you mind putting the page where we can take students for a visual exam? Thank you. So I'm assuming those resources are included in the presentation where they could go for the vision exams. Awesome.
Yep, that last resource for parents to take the students, yes.
Awesome, and I'm going to include it now. Meanwhile, are there any other questions? Please make sure to put them in the Q&A section. I know something coming in was about the glasses. It came in on our registration form. I believe it was the Blu-ray glasses, a little bit more about how they help and purchasing prices.
So I know a lot of parents are buying them online, which I'm not a big advocate of, but it's better than not having it at all, I guess. Just like I'm not a big advocate of going over to Walgreens and picking up a reader. I really like I like it to be prescribed. So I really like the parents to go to the eye doctor. And if the child even needs a low power lens just for focusing, it can be incorporated in their glasses. And that's the best way to have it, because it's just like transition lenses, which are the ones that change from outside to inside where they get dark and light. That's made within the lens. You can't add it later. So what will happen is parents who buy those Blu-ray lenses and their child has a prescription, they're going to have to put that on over their glasses if they didn't ask the doctor to add them to the prescription. And the doctor should be recommending it, because I've been recommending anti-glare coating to all my students. So the whole principle behind that though is the Blu-ray has an effect on the melatonin level in our body. And so it does have an effect on sleep. And that's why I tell you, don't let your children be on these devices before they go to bed. Some children who can't go to sleep, parents know they end up having to get the melatonin supplement to kind of give them because they're not making enough of it. So that's kind of similar. What the Blu-ray is doing is kind of helping the melatonin level so that it now, the eye is put more at ease, and so it has an effect on that. But what it really is doing is kind of getting rid of those more harmful rays of light from your eyes that is kind of being emitted from the computer itself. So, that has been something good. I think a lot of people have really marketed it and getting into when a lot of parents, because they don't have insurance and they can't afford it, they have been going off market and, going online and buying $10 and $15 glasses. And they say, is this okay? And I say, for you maybe, but not for your child. And the reason I say that is because those glasses are so cheap because of the material. And then a lot of people will bring them to us to make when they get a new prescription, to put it into that. But the way they're made, sometimes the material is glue. I mean, it's kind of cemented in, and you can't pop it out, just like the readers are. So the quality of the material is not always really good. But for like adults that have really basic prescriptions, little low prescriptions, they can't see far away, they wear red outfits, blue outfits, green outfits, and they want to wear a different pair, they're not wearing that same prescription all the time. That's why I said for the parents, if they want to wear those, it's okay. But with your child, you should be concerned with their eyes developing what's going into their eyes. And you want really good quality going in, because even in our state, even with the Medicaid glasses, the child has to get what's called a polycarbonate lens, which is a harder to break lens. It's a thinner little lens, a lighter lens. It's not the thin lens, it's not the same thing, but it's a better quality lens than basic plastic. And sometimes those come with just basic plastic. So when you get a high prescription, it's gonna look really thick. So just be careful. And I guess, I'm not in your pocket, but Catherine can help most parents who don't have insurance, kind of get some insurance for them so that they can get, I know they used to do that at Princeton, where they can actually get an MCO to pay for their glasses. And at least, like here, we'll do an exam for free, and then I'll send it to the Essilor Vision Foundation, because I can't afford to give you the free glasses, but I'll go through the foundation to get the glasses so that they'll have better quality.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Stephanie. And I know all this information will also be provided in the format that I'm going to be setting. So I will be sending it via email to everyone participating today. You will receive a PDF of the deck with all these wonderful resources. Please keep an eye out for that in your email, as well as a quick survey, just asking a couple questions about today's presentation. Another question coming in, and I will repeat it in English, is, ¿puede ponerle unas gotas para los ojos cansados de la farmacia? Gracias. The question is, are we able to put some eyes that we get just from our local pharmacy in the eyes for tired eyes? Thank you.
Oh, the fatigue drops? I'm just skeptical because I don't know what you're picking up, because they have all that at the pharmacy saying, okay, for your eye, for red eyes, for itchy eyes. And if you consult your pharmacist, he probably could direct you, but just picking it up yourself because your eyes are tired, I would question doing it without, kind of consulting a professional, because the professional is going to take into account your health and what else is going in your body and going to ask you the proper questions about allergies. Because what you don't want to do is to put those drops in and all of a sudden you have like an eye that looks a beet red because you had an allergic reaction. So you should be careful about just picking it up as yourself without consulting a professional person about it.
Yeah, thank you for that, Dr. Stephanie. And I think that's something that we all kind of just navigate towards. Sometimes we see those drops in the pharmacy or at our local gas station, and we say, oh, well, my eyes are itching every once in a while. I think this may be something useful, but that's something really important to consider. Question coming in is, where can I find that information regarding exams? I would like to provide my sites with this information. Awesome. So again, all those resources will be in the deck provided. If Ms. Hudson, I'm sorry, that is correct, right? All those information it's all going to be in there. Perfect. Thank you. Another question coming in. Yes, my child has issues with sleeping. So what about if my child is not prescribed to wear glasses, but has issues with the computer screen?
If they say it again for me.
Yeah, of course. So it says, yes, my child has issues with sleeping. So what about if my child is not prescribed to wear glasses, but has issues with the computer screen?
Okay, so if he has trouble sleeping, and that person is not letting the child go to the computer screen right before bedtime, right? But that's the biggest thing, is don't let them get on the devices before bedtime. If they have trouble sleeping, that's just going to make it worse. So let them just have maybe music, like soft music. Even that kind of spa music, meditation music sometimes calms them down, so that they can just unwind. A lot of those, especially bright kids, their minds are spinning, and it takes them a long time to unwind. So it's not normal for a kid to be put to bed for 30 minutes and they're just laying there. That means they're not sneaking and reading the books. They're just laying there relaxing. That's what just relaxes. Even children who are young that need naps, and they're starting to get to the point where they don't take naps, they need naps. So you still just let them learn how to have quiet time. Even if they don't go to sleep, they can just lay there for 30 minutes. Because the kids, they have to rest. They have to rest from visual stimulation. So,
Awesome.
and if your child is really having trouble sleeping, you should really consult your pediatrician too.
Yes, thank you for that, Dr. Stephanie. Another question. I know now, especially with all these online classes, a lot of the school reading provided to students may be ebooks. How do you recommend parents navigate through that if their child, of course, is doing reading through ebooks?
Monitor how long they do it. They got to break. And I know they got to finish. And this is the other thing. If you know that your child is a slow reader, it's something else going on. I mean, the teacher shouldn't be giving them more than what they should for their age in the first place. So if you talk to other parents and that child, is a young child, so he has 30 minutes of homework on his, to do, but your child is taking 3 times that long, it's something else. So maybe they may have one of these other visual skill deficits I was mentioning, like maybe they don't track, or maybe like they're not following along, or they don't fixate accurately across the page, or they're focusing, having a problem. Or let's say they're having to respond on the keyboard, but their eyes and their hands aren't working together, so they're slower. So it's something else. Take them and get examined. That's kind of where I get an eye exam from someone, and that's the key. Go to someone that's just not going to go and do what you do. Put the kid in the chair, look at the big Snellen chart, which is the big E chart, and the kid reads the 20/20. They put him in that chair, they scope them, they don't hardly have any prescription. They go like, well, I don't know what it is. He sees okay. It's more to seeing than just how sharp you see. So you want to go to an eye doctor that's going to dig deeper. They're going to take that near point rod. I'm going to show you. So here's the, I don't know if you can, okay. So here is the phoropter, right? So this, everybody's familiar with. But if you have an older kid, let's say a fourth grader, that rod should go down, or they should do, and they should be doing some other tests to see if they could have a lens that will help them when they focus, when they read. Maybe they have a tendency for their eyes to cross a lot. And the doctor may recommend a bifocal lens. Sometimes you all see the doctors do this 3D test. They put the 3D glasses on. So seeing in 3D like this with real detail, not the 3D movies, but this kind of test tells us how well their eyes work together as a team. And so maybe that's happening. But you should dig deeper if something is happening. And if it is, like me, when I see that, I write a letter for my parents to take back to the school, to tell them to decrease that amount of work that they're giving the child, you know, or to decrease the computer time, you know, give them that information on paper. But I have to examine them to make that recommendation. And the other doctors can do the same thing. So that you can do.
Awesome. Another question coming in. First of all, thank you for the presentation. My son is always scratching his eyes. Is that dryness? How to help from my side? Thank you.
So a lot of times when they stretch their eyes, they're trying to see better. So some kids squint to see, but some kids buck their eyes like this because they're trying to see better. And then some kids blink. So in vision therapy, one of the exercises we do is we teach them to blink because we're trying to make the eyes work together. So sometimes the kids will blink unconsciously because they're having a tendency not to make the left and the right eye work together. So they start blinking to make it work. Sometimes it's neurological, but sometimes it's just an eye coordination problem.
Perfect. And last question for today, I want to be considerate of everyone's time. When reading at night, I know a lot of students may turn the light off or use the book lights that kind of connect to the books. Is that something you would recommend, or would you recommend just saving the reading for the daytime?
Reading for the daytime, that's artificial light. So, you know, you mean those lights that connect to the book? It's the actual book, not a computer, right?
Yes.
So, and it's shining. So that's shining directly on it. If you're reading a book, you should have and it's best to have incandescent, not like this fluorescent, but the incandescent light. And it should be like a goose, and the light should be shining here. So when you have that kind of light, it's kind of going directly on it like this, and it's going to cause more glare. So if you have a goose light, like a little low light, and it's going towards the book, that's more ideal. I found that website, by the way, I was telling you about, it's optometrist.org. I thought it was .com, but it's .org. And it helps you find an eye doctor. I don't know, everybody's not signed up for this, so you may not find it that way. But I mean, that's one way to find an eye doctor too. It's called optometrist with an S on the end, .org.
Optometrist.org. Perfect. Thank you so much for that resource. Perfect. Thank you both so much for being here with us today and giving us all this amazing information. I know a lot of parents are wondering, especially with remote learning being for so long, they want to make sure that their students are doing all right with their vision. We appreciate you both of your time so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
I appreciate you guys.
Yes.
Good luck with the e-learning, parents. I'm giving you a hand because that's more than a notion. I'm glad mine and well past that age.
Very, very true. Everyone, thank you for being here with us today. There will be a link in the chat for a quick survey going up just to make sure everything's that we're doing on our end is working for you. We appreciate it so much, and all the valuable links will be in the chat, as well as I will make sure to send everyone the deck for today so you guys are able to reach all the wonderful resources provided for us today. It was a pleasure having you both here with us today. We appreciate it, and I hope everyone has a wonderful evening.
Okay, bye-bye.